Hey, it's Chuck Armstrong with Loudwire Nights, and this is Loudwire Nights On Demand. It was so much fun chatting with Patrick Stone and Sam Koltun of Budderside as we celebrated the release of their new full-length album, White Flame. This first aired on Wednesday, July 10th. Let's go. Well, a few weeks ago, I had the privilege of being in Los Angeles for a very special birthday party for a good friend of mine and really a good friend of the show. He's been on the show with us in the past, the legendary Matt Pinfield. Now, a guy like Matt doesn't just have a party, but he has a rock and roll party, and that's what he did. He had several bands come together at the Viper Room in L.A. to celebrate his birth, and it was a blast. And you know what, man? The final band of the night was one I had heard of, but I wasn't too familiar with. But by the end of the show, man, I was hooked, an instant fan. And so tonight I'm beyond excited to bring this band to Loudwire Nights with their incredible frontman, Patrick Stone, and guitarist Sam Koltun. Patrick, Sam, thanks so much for hanging, guys.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you so much for those kind words. That was really cool. We're just dying to get in front of people like you and prove ourselves. So this is just the best.
Wow, Patrick, it's great to have you. And Sam, it's great to have you on the show, man. I'm glad both of you could join.
Thank you very much.
So listen, let's just jump into this. For listeners who might not be that familiar with Budderside, how would you sort of describe the band? Not even just describe the band. What would be your elevator pitch to new ears? What would that sound like?
Go ahead, Sam.
Oh wow, on the spot, right off the bat.
Let's do it.
Catchy songs and cool riffs and cool sounding stuff. You know, we try to come up with stuff that we like and hope that everybody else will too. So that's my elevator pitch. Patrick's is probably better.
Somebody referred to us as like if Chris Cornell and Lemmy had a baby and formed a band.
I love that.
Yeah. I was that was the highest compliment I think you could possibly be paid. So yeah. It's just really emotional music. It's really like Sam and I have just been really lucky enough to get together and share these experiences together. We're going through life together, and he just happens to bleed his emotions through his guitar. And then, you know, he's kind enough to let me sing over the top of it. And it just seems to come out really special. How
long have you guys been making music together?
Me and Patrick since 2018, but Patrick started the band in 2015 or 16.
Pretty much it was legitimized in 2015 when Lemmy decided to sign us to Motorhead Music. But even at that time, I'd been scoping Sam out. You know, I'd been kind of watching his career develop. He was just this kid up on stage with an amazing singer named Gabby Ray. And from the moment I saw him, I knew that I had to incorporate him into the band somehow. And then he just became a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger of a part of the band. And now he's just as much a part of the band as I am.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. And, Patrick, you kind of just slipped it in, but yeah, you guys got signed to Lemmy's label. And so when someone gives you that compliment of sounding like Chris Cornell and Lemmy, if they had a baby, you know, that's what Budderside sounds like. It's not just oh man, that's cool, but that actually has kind of a personal connection for you, right?
Absolutely. Cause Lemmy's got the grit and I think, Chris has got the beauty as far as the voice goes. You know what I mean? I've always wanted to be like both. And in every song, I think hopefully you feel those two influences coming through.
Now, I got to ask, and I'm sure you guys get tired of hearing this or getting this question, but give us a little story behind the name Budderside.
All the good names were taken.
Basically, we were on the edge of renaming the band, and actually, again, going back to Lemmy, he said, "I love the fucking name Budderside," and I was just like, when you get outside of the United States, it's just like it doesn't really have that, the bread lands butter side up kind of a thing to it. You know what I mean? It's just a word. It's a word we kind of made up. Cake was really popular. Corn was popular. Limp Bizkit was popular. It was kind of the era of like, for me, it was kind of like the, who gives a what's in a name? It's kind of, taking the piss out of ourselves, But then, once you get past it and really listen to the music, like Lemmy, you give us a nod, or Katie Babbs, she gives us a nod. It's like some of the coolest people in this. Chuck Armstrong gives us a nod. People that really give the music a chance fall in love with the name as well.
That's right, man. Well, listen, it's great to catch up tonight and to hear this, but we're also celebrating the release of Budderside's brand new album, White Flame, out now. I got to ask, how does it feel to have this wrapped up and ready for the world to hear?
I think that's the first time we both heard it said like that. How does it feel, Sam?
It is, yeah. It feels incredible, especially hearing that.
Yeah, I saw his face go from like very serious to smiling. It's like having, it's like having, well, in Japan, we're basically having 14 kids. It's a 14 song record over there, which is a huge, it's a huge weight off of our shoulders. And it's a long time coming, and it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So it feels really good. There's a lot of lessons in there. There's a lot of, once you put out music, it's kind of like all of these experiences you've gone through. For me, as a lyric writer, it's like you go through all of these experiences, you have all of these ups and downs and just all of this life happening, and you really want to put a staple on it and move on to the next part of your life. It's like a chapter being closed, and at the same time, it's being open for everybody else to finally, share. So,
right. You guys have sat with this, right? You've written this, you've recorded it, you've prepped it for release. Here we are. Yeah, for you guys, it's like, all right, we did it. And now for me, for the rest of the world, it's like, now we're just starting with it,
Yeah, you've held on to something for so long, and it's kind of been your own little secret for such a long time. And then finally, putting it out for everybody else to have and love. It's a crazy feeling for sure.
How long have you guys been working on this album?
I think close to, I want to say 4 years.
3
years?
I'd say, uncomfortably 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really the pandemic was really when the band, we had just kind of revamped the entire lineup, so I got rid of the old and in with the new, and we all started kind of touring together on the second album. And then it was like the pandemic hit, and it's like, oh, what are we going to do? Let's start writing. And we kind of did this whole writing. We did writing phases in sets of 4. We did 4 songs with Matt Good every time we went up to see him and produced them. And then, we went back and recorded another 4. And then we went back and recorded another 4. And now we're finally at the point where it's like, well, we've got a full album's worth of material. Let's put it out. So
how is this album connected to what came out earlier this year? Good for Nothing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, all of those songs were kind of leading up to an album. I think Bring Me the Horizon just basically did the same thing. They kept putting out so many singles, and they finally were just like, okay, let's take this whole, collection and release it as an album. So that's what we're doing with
awesome.
Some brand new material too, which I really feel is like our strongest stuff. So I'm almost sad that we're putting it out as a group, because I really want to get in and let people focus on the 4 newest tracks are my favorite so far. So
that's awesome.
Same here.
Well, and I got to say too, it's just got to be such a good feeling to, this isn't the first album you guys have released. You've been working on this for a few years, but to have that feeling of like, this is some of the best stuff we've ever done.
Yeah. Yeah. Sam.
Yeah. It's also just the, the fact that it's, the stuff from the past is, I worked with Patrick on the last album, but this is something that's all kind of, what we did together with our other guitar player, Logan, as well. And Jeff, our drummer, and just, that mutual thing of just everybody's creativity, put into one thing. So.
Well, I got to say, I'm so excited for this album. I'm excited for the whole world to hear it too. But also, man, I became a fan because of your live show, because I got to experience Budderside in the live setting. And now I'm finding myself, diving into everything that you've released, everything that I can find, all the music that's out there. And, Patrick, you're an absolutely incredible frontman, man. And that energy, that passion, it comes through in the studio too. And Sam, the same thing. Like Patrick said, your passion comes through your guitar, and you hear that, you experience that from the stage, you hear that in the studio. And it's just obvious you guys care so deeply about what you do, whether it's in the studio, whether it's on the stage. And so, I'm curious just for both of you, whether it's guitarists or frontmen, but who have inspired you like over the years where you see them and you're like, that is what I have always wanted to do. That is like, that's the sort of level I'm aiming for.
For me with guitar players, it's been like Jerry Cantrell has been a huge influence for many, many years. Like Tony Iommi, a lot of, riff guys, as far as the guitar stuff goes, but just, songs just in general too, just bands with great songs, Soundgarden, like Patrick mentioned, and Audio Slave, and anything with a good riff and a good melody, really.
Yeah. For me, I think it's Sam and the guys in the band, they influenced me to be just better, when we go into record, there's like, there's nobody holds back. It's like, if it's not completely honest and like really uncomfortable to sing about, we don't print it. You know what I mean? We don't leave until it's like, dude, is that really the best you can do? Kind of a thing. We really push each other to be the best, it's in, the influence behind the energy behind what you see on stage is really, it's just like this emotional catapult from all of the stories that are being sung up there. And then, knowing that there's these riffs that really kind of embrace the emotion of whatever it was we were going through, depending on which song, to perfectly, hit in a way that really makes you understand the story the way that only music can. So I think it's a sense of pride up there. So, I mean, when I'm up there, honestly, I look back at any videos and I'm like, what the hell am I like? It's, I don't really understand where the energy comes from, and I don't understand the moves. It's just like the music takes over, and what you see is that. And, it's beautiful to see somebody like you, Chuck, who's been, doing music for so long, and, your integrity is impeccable. And it's like, to have you coming back and telling us this is just like, it's the, it's just, it means so much to us. So,
well, man, I mean every word of it. And yeah, like I stayed at the show till the very end. I just had to soak up every second of what you guys were doing on the stage, and it was just a blast. And then afterward, talking to everybody about that too, like everybody felt that energy. Everybody felt that connection. And Patrick, the way you kind of described it, it's maybe a word that gets overused sometimes, but it's just that authenticity, right? That you're not forcing anything. You're not making up this energy on stage. Like it just happens.
Yeah. Everything's very by feel across the board, I'd say. I noticed that a lot, speaking as an outsider looking at Patrick, I think we both are very much do things by feel in the moment. And, it's just, I don't know. I don't want to say
we go on tour, every band seems to have this, they have it's basically like a script you run on, you know what I mean? If you're on a tour night after night after night after night, and you watch the same band every night, you'll notice that they say exactly the same things in between songs. You notice that it's like, it's a script, you know what I mean? And it's like the same thing over and over again, which maybe we should learn from, but we just let all the grooves come out of the hinges, and we just kind of, it's all about the feel of the room, connecting with who's right in front of us, and allowing what they're going through to kind of influence how we display our show,
Awesome, man. Simple as that. Well, listen, what's on the horizon for Budderside? So White Flame is out now. What's next for you guys?
Hopefully just getting that into as many ears as we possibly can. We've got a Mexico tour coming up again with the 69 Eyes. We've got Aftershock. We've got Louder Than Life. There is definitely some talk of us going to Japan. We've just, this deal that we have with Avalon Marquee over there should bring us over to Japan. So lots of exciting stuff. Definitely some local shows we're planning on doing as soon as possible. Those are kind of coming to, there's no real date set, but sometime I think in August, we're going to be playing LA. So our plate is full for sure.
Sweet. Let's go, man. Patrick Stone, Sam Koltun, thank you both so much for hanging tonight. Congrats on the release of White Flame. Everybody can stay up to date with everything going on in your world at Budderside.com, Budder side.com. Congrats on this record. Congrats on just everything leading up to now and everything that's ahead for you guys. Thanks for making me a lifelong fan. And you both are welcome on Loudwire Nights anytime. So hopefully we can hang again soon.
Oh, Chuck, thanks so much, bro. Loudwire, bro. What?
Thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
That wraps up this episode of Loudwire Nights on Demand. Stay caught up with everything happening in the world of rock and metal on the Loudwire app and at loudwire.com.